Good evening. This is Bill Cooper. The name of the show is Savannah at Night, and we are WRUULP, Savannah, Georgia, 107.5 FM, and WRUU.org. We are Savannah Soundings, community radio with Global Soul. And I have an announcement to read. If you enjoy our programming on WRUULP, please support the station with a donation. As an individual, you can give any amount. Become a basic station member or become a serious fan of the station. To check out membership rates and to donate to the station, go to WRUU.org/individual and select to donate monthly or subscribe to an annual membership. Again, to donate to the station, go to WRUU.org/individual and select to donate monthly or subscribe to an annual membership. Thank you for listening to us and supporting WRUU. As I said, this is the name of the show is called Savannah at Night, and what I do is I bring in people involved in the arts in Savannah, be it comedy, be it poetry, be it acting. And tonight I have a guest, just a nice young man that I've got to know only a few months ago from comedy. And his name is Caleb Brewer. How you doing, Caleb?
I'm doing well. Thank you for inviting me, Bill.
Okay, and thank you very much for coming. Now, Caleb, just to let people know, Caleb's about a third my age, so he's a young'un, and yet I am very impressed by the comedy he does. He just stands up there, and you'd think he'd been doing it for 100 years. But so, how did you get so good? And first of all, how long have you been doing it?
Yeah, kind of blown away that you said that. Actually, that's awesome. I think I'm just rounding out like my first year.
Wow. Yeah.
A couple weeks ago, I think was my first year. It was cool. Did a show at Southern Barrel Brewing, and it was my first paid gig, so got $9.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've been paid now.
Yeah.
So
and you
cool.
still have it, the $9, or?
I have one. You know what?
Or did you leave it there?
I kept $1 to put into a frame of some sort.
There you go. Yeah, your first buck.
An individual asked me for some money one time, and that was the only dollar I had, so I gave it to him. So.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's okay. Hopefully I'll make $9 more soon. So.
Yeah. Anyway, as I say, I'm impressed that you seem to have been up there a long time. That you've been doing this. It comes, and I know it doesn't come natural to anyone. You're standing up there. You got a little butterflies in you. You're talking to people. You hope your stuff works. And for folks that are listening, the local comedians here, we write our own stuff. Everything is our own original idea. We don't take jokes from the internet or old jokes we heard years ago. This is all our own original stuff. So when you're up there and what I'm talking about, when you deliver it, if you get a good response, that's a great feeling.
That's an amazing feeling. I think it's what everybody does it for, I told a joke the other day that I wrote, and the way I told it semantically was perfect, and then I told it again later, and it didn't work as well. So it's that mix too of, every word has to count, and there can't be any fat on your joke. But it's exciting. It's exciting when you tell a good joke. It's you get that fix you need,
right,
to get you through the rest of the week.
Whether it's an ego trip or not, I don't care what you call it. It doesn't matter. It just, once again. I tell people I've always been a ham bone. I will, I'm not the quiet one in the room. Never stood in the corner since I was a little kid, and haven't been a wallflower. So I just like people, and I love yakking with them. And I just took it a step further and decided to do comedy. I was pushed into it really by Melanie.
Yeah.
Awesome. Melanie Goldie, she's terrific, and she's very active in this city. And she was a guest one night with her fiancé, Matt. And the funny thing was, as I said, I had always had the ability to make people laugh, but I never took it anyway. I just thought, that's it. But she was running a small open mic, and she pretty much pushed me up there, and that's whoa.
Yeah, it's, she's incredibly supportive, and she does a lot of stuff for the scene. Mine was kind of similar. I had a buddy who was bartending downtown. He stopped by. He was like, I'm doing a open mic set tonight at Chuck's, and I was like, wow, that's something I've always been interested in, never done it. I think I'm going to come join you. So I just, started scrawling down as much as I could, trying to figure it out, and I ended up writing a joke that I still use. But it just, kind of kicked off the whole thing where it's like, okay, well, maybe I'll go next week. And then, the next week after that, it's like, okay, well, maybe I'll go to 2 of these, spread out a little bit more. And then just over the year, it's kind of like I try to hit as much as I can when I'm not working. But it's cool. I enjoy it. Making people laugh, I think when I was growing up, I was always the chubby kid. So it was a way to make friends,
Right, exactly.
Exactly. So, I became really good at making fun of myself, I guess. So I, got friends from that, and I just kind of rolled with it, and I really enjoy making people laugh. I think that's one of the coolest things that another human can do, another person.
But it's funny, just the opposite for me. I was the skinny kid. I mean, seriously, on a windy day, I couldn't go to school.
Okay.
So I was the one, I made people laugh so they wouldn't beat me up.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, that was pretty much it. To fit in, that I had that ability to make them laugh, and that you became cool. They wanted, and rather than just beat you up and leave your lifeless body in the schoolyard every day,
Right.
you got to hang around with them, and that was cool.
Oh man, I wasn't. I don't think people were necessarily scared of me, but I don't think that they were trying to beat me up either. It was more of fat kid jokes.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I was just,
Yeah.
I was a little sensitive fat kid, so.
Yeah. Oh, well, but it wasn't. I didn't get beat up every day, but only when I got in a fight. That was the only times I got beat up. Those were the days. So anyway, and you brought up the point, and I said, most comedians that I know, they've always been funny. They've been the class clown or the funny one in the family, Now, at home, where you grew up, your parents, were they okay with your humor, or did you have to be pulled in and say, okay, that's enough?
I'm lucky enough to come from a very, very funny family. I think that they're all funny in their own ways. My brother's really sarcastic, and my mom's really smart, and my dad's really funny too. So I don't think that was ever really a problem. If anything, I think that they only help me to be funny.
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't give you the cheap laughs either. You got to really earn them. But it's like it's a funny family. It's a good family to come from. A lot of my new stuff that I've been writing lately on the side is actually involving a lot of them. So I'm still workshopping some of that stuff. We'll see if it comes out sooner or later, but I'm excited.
All right. Now, they always ask, I guess, the next question is, how did it work in your school? Were your teachers okay with it? Or did you not do it in class?
No, they had to separate me from my buddies all the time. Not so, we talk sports, anything, but, I was always trying to make people laugh, try to make girls laugh.
Right.
That was like my one thing with the girls.
It took me, I don't know how long before I realized, the teachers was trying to do something.
Yeah, I didn't learn too much world history, but...
it had to be tough on them. And, I most of them probably aren't alive anymore, but I think they know. I'm sorry. Sort of.
I would love to talk to some of my teachers and just apologize from the past, but
that means we learned something from
it.
Even if it took years later to sink in, we learned something.
I'm just bringing back all these memories of how obnoxious I was, even in high school. I was an obnoxious kid. I really was. I can't believe that they tolerated it.
I can believe it.
Yeah. It's like one look at me and it's like, yeah, that guy was annoying in high school for sure.
But you talk about the girls when when you're 12 and 13 and girls have cooties. They would make fun of you, and they could, actually a guy, I didn't mind. I mean, if a guy made fun of me, I'd make fun of him, and if it came to that, then we'd just settle it after school. But, that wasn't that often. However, when a girl made fun of you, it cut. For some reason,
it hurts.
It did.
It hurts.
As a group, like, they would all be laughing at you. Not just
you don't want girls laughing at you. You want girls laughing with you.
Well,
you don't really care if guys laugh at you because it doesn't matter.
When you're 11, 12, 13, you have no use for them anyway. You just want to be with the boys and have fun, and do guy stuff, boy stuff. But then when you start looking up and geez, she's not as ugly anymore. But as I said, they would laugh at you as a group. Whereas guys wouldn't do that. Pretty much, if you were saying something with someone and you were laughing at someone, you'd look and your friends are looking at you. What are you laughing at him for? But that wasn't the girls. They were a pack, man. They were just a pack, and that was it.
That's still a fear today.
Yeah.
Girls laughing at me.
That I don't know. I mean, it's just you have that's part of growing up. You learn to deal with it. As you said though, when you can make a girl laugh. I remember one time they asked, they did a survey, someone somewhere, some magazine or something, and I'll let you young people Google magazine to catch up with us. Anyway, and they said they asked women, what is the first thing you look for when you want to date a guy? What's the first thing you look for? And almost all of them said a sense of humor.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm surprised it's not money, honestly.
Well, you've been dating the wrong ones. No,
they're like, does he have a car? No. All right. He's really good at making me laugh, so
I guess
we could just ride his bike.
I mean, if that's what you want, if you just want money, you'll eventually find it. And I hope it makes you happy because that's not a key to anything.
I totally agree with you, but also not having money is the key to nothing. To me, like I don't know.
There's a place in between.
Exactly. Money represents freedom,
right?
Like,
right.
In a certain sense.
I don't want to ever be able to have everything I want because then you
don't want anything.
That's what I'm saying. Well,
yeah. What is this?
That's gonna hurt to be a billionaire. I don't ever want that hurt.
I'll take that curse. I will take the billionaire curse. If there's any billionaires out there,
I guarantee you, as you go on, is this spinning around the sun. You're going to change your mind.
I don't know, man.
I've seen people. I mean, I've read about people that have won the lottery, and they did not know how to handle instant wealth. And some of the all right, talk about Elvis Presley, Johnny Cash, because they came up from poverty, real poverty. They couldn't handle the wealth. They get into the drugs and the problems and that. And a lot of football players, whatever.
That happens all the time. All the time.
All of a sudden, they can buy anything they ever dreamed of and more, and they can't handle it. So, I mean, I'm just saying it can be a curse, too. And it does.
Yeah, that's true. Plus, you get all those people that come out of the woodworks asking you for money.
That's what I'm saying.
They hire people that embezzle from them.
How do you...
They gamble a lot sometimes. I'm not saying all athletes or successful people do this, but
when the lottery is up to like $500 million or more, and I said, Marianne, I beg you, don't buy a ticket. Seriously, I don't want to.
It's a trap.
I love my life. I don't want to move. I don't want to change my phone number. I don't want to hide from people.
Yeah.
And you have to do that. I said, so what did we win? She said, I'll take the chance.
She's bold.
She's her own person, which is great.
Yeah.
All right, so now, as I say, you've been doing it for less than a year, or around a year.
Yeah, like right at a year, somewhere in there,
okay.
Right there.
And once again, I'm Bill Cooper. The name of the show is Savannah at Night, and my guest tonight is Caleb Brewer, a young comedian. And as I said earlier, that he impressed me. He seems as if he's been doing it a long time. And when you said only, when I talked to you, when I first met you, and that, I was surprised how inexperienced on the stage with the microphone that you have.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, and it just it's nice. And we were talking about Gerard Smith earlier. Gerard Smith, and I've had him on the show. If folks at home, if you haven't got out to see at least Gerard Smith, you are doing yourself a huge disservice.
Especially for free.
You
can see him for free.
Yeah, and
the dude's a genius.
He's brilliant. What he does is incredible. Once again, we all write our own stuff, but he has a delivery, he has a pace, a timing that any professional would be proud to
I totally agree.
Like him. Yet, off the stage, he's one of the quietest people I ever met in my life. Barely, I've known him 5 years now, and as I was telling you earlier, I think it took 3 years for him to say more than hi to me. And and that's the way he is.
That is the way he is.
Wow, and to see the genius that comes out when he has a microphone in his hand, that's incredible. It's a transformation.
It really is. He is a special individual, and I wish him the best. And I think that he truly has a chance to do whatever he wants to do in comedy. I think that
I've told him
he's got the skills.
Thing. Yeah, I hope you climb the ladder, kid.
Yeah, dude, do it, man.
You have
do it.
You have it. Now, all right, so We talked about hitting the lottery, which is a bad dream. However,
For
in
you,
comedy-
for me, that's my dream right now.
Yeah, you have to buy a
Curse for you. Awesome gift for me. So
Yeah, all right. I guess you have to buy a ticket to win it. So thank goodness they don't force them on us.
right.
But anyway, all right. So let's get to comedy. Now, did you ever want to make a career in it?
I would love to.
Yeah.
I don't. Obviously, I try to be as realistic as possible.
Maybe make $10 or $11 someday.
Right. Yeah. If I could get into double-digit dollars, that would be incredible. I think maybe my skills might be more writing. Like I said, I've only been doing this for a year, and before I don't have any acting prerequisites, or I've never acted before. I've never been on stage. The first time I held a microphone was the first time I ever did an open mic a year ago.
That's
I
crazy.
talked in front of a crowd.
Yeah.
So I think that's where a lot of. That's not where all the work is. Obviously, I still, I want to improve my writing and stuff. But also, sometimes I'm not holding the mic right, or like it's too, like I don't, that stage presence isn't necessarily there just because I've never done it, or I've only done it X amount of times. Whereas I think you have other comedians in the scene who have way bigger backgrounds with being on stage. So I think it comes easier to them talking in front of people.
Right.
I'm not a great public speaker.
As I
anything.
told you earlier, too, that I've done a lot of acting in the student films in town, Savannah College of Art and Design. I've done a lot of that, and a couple of the bigger films that came through here, but they were small parts. But it's a good training ground, and if you want to do acting or anything to do in a film, there's I would check that out.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it's incredible how much talent they have in the city.
If SCAD's doing a CC's play, they know who to come to.
That once again, that's one of your jokes that it just I can't I laugh every time I hear it, and that's just a sign of quality.
Thanks, man.
I tell you how back, I remember when Jackie Gleason, The Honeymoons, was live, black and white, live on TV.
Mhm.
And, that's it. I mean, the first TV I saw was 1948, so I go back a long way, and I can see the reruns of that. I can mouth every word before they say it, and I still laugh at the punchline because it's such quality.
Right.
It is so good. It's simple. Comedy doesn't have to be complicated to be funny.
I totally
It
agree.
is so simple and so good. It stands up 60 years later, 70 years later. It's unbelievable.
It's that universal funny that
Yeah.
I think, at least I am. Every time I write a joke, I try to, I want everyone to laugh at this. I don't want to single one group or demographic out and like this was for you. Like I want that universal funny.
Right.
It's really hard to come by. It's
It is. Once again, I want to make this point here. Once again, I'm in my 70s. How do I connect with people your age? How do I make you laugh? Whereas you don't know most of the references I could reference. I had to learn that real early. How do I connect with someone that's, once again, I have grandchildren your age. So how do I connect with you? And the easiest way I found was, and you found it was Cece's, is food. Everyone
food didn't
eats.
change. Food doesn't change.
Oh, it does. It changes. it changes. I mean, I saw a thing the other day. It said cage-free eggs. I'm saying I've never seen an egg in a cage. How do they?
That's so they don't get
egg
out.
Every egg is. They're making cages for eggs now. Are they planning their escape from
Yeah.
the hatch?
We gotta keep them separated, man.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
talk to
every
each other.
egg I ever ate in my life was cage-free.
Yeah.
Maybe the chicken wasn't, but they took the egg out as soon as it landed.
It probably just rolled into a little gutter down into
Yeah.
a assembly line.
So that was the thing. I found that connection, something that we all do, and I had to do that because, once again, I don't want to get up there and talk about TV shows I've seen in the 40s and 50s. Like, I could hear the snoring if I started.
Well, I mean, I do a set in front of a bunch of like athletically fit people, and they're like, "I've never. Why would I go to CC's? I'll look exactly like you. That's why I don't go. It's because of you."
But I mean, you're not too unfit. You look. Like,
that's the nicest compliment I've ever gotten. I'm not too unfit. I love that.
I try to be honest.
It was on my scouting report. He's not too unfit.
I've had a lifetime goal to be honest, and sometimes it isn't easy.
Oh, I loved it, man. I thought it was hilarious. That was great.
No, but you're really not.
Thanks, man.
You know, hey, you look.
I've
like
seen
you-
this shirtless, so
you know,
I know what it is.
Well, I'm just saying, you look like 6 weeks of hard football camp, and you could go in there and knock a few heads.
Oh yeah, man, dude. I was a bit of a football player. I'm not, I don't want to toot my own horn, but
No,
yeah, I loved it.
What
I loved
position?
football. I played defensive end,
defensive.
a little bit of linebacker, some tight end.
So you're just growling,
Oh, yeah.
looking at that punky quarterback.
Oh yeah,
right?
man. I was kind of a jerk in high school though. It was a good way to get all that anger out. That
Yeah.
I don't know. I truly do miss football though. I wish there was some time machine to put my brain back in 16-year-old Caleb and get football, because I could have gone to school for free, and I turned down offers because I was an idiot.
No, we
know?
all are at 17. Our brains mush. It's not, it's, you know.
Right.
Some, I guess it has to do with the home you come up, but some kids are just geared for college and they're ready for it, and off they go running.
Not me.
And, you know, me neither.
I was not ready.
Totally not me, and I'm not knocking it. I think it's great. You know, whatever you can do to better yourself or to do better,
Yeah.
go for it. But I wasn't ready. It's the same as you. I was not ready, and I was just had no idea. I had no goals. I think that was it.
Yeah, no, that's totally it. I went into college unrealistic with my quote unquote goals. Like I was a chemistry major when I entered college, when I was 17. I'd gotten like a B in chemistry in high school. There was no reason for me to think that I was capable of becoming.
But how'd you pick that? You had to have a reason.
Honestly, I watched a lot of Scrubs. And I wanted to be a doctor because I watched some TV show. I was an idiot. I'm still an idiot, but like less of an idiot now. Like, and that's totally true. That's 100% true, and it's embarrassing, but
No, it isn't. It
isn't.
It's
I mean,
how you are when you're 17. A lot of, I mean, okay, you graduated from high school. You're going to college. I mean, I didn't grow up in that kind of family. My family was blue collar. I don't think they could have afforded to send me anything more than a community college, which I don't even think existed back then.
yeah.
So, I mean, I didn't.
Well, my parents didn't afford for me to go to college either. I have student loans. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I should have played football for free.
But that was
And gone to school for
seriously,
free.
Back before this student loan thing is basically new. This
That's
is
true.
not- yeah, you either
And
went
that's
to
not working
college,
out so
your
well.
parents had money, or
They do.
or you got a scholarship.
They're fine.
No, I don't mean your parents, but I'm saying this is how it was back then. Your parents had
Oh.
money, or you had a scholarship. That was it.
Yeah.
And so I knew that college wouldn't go, but I did actually. I started working and had a family at a very young age, and they come along. I went back to school. I went to college, nice, and I never got such good marks because I was paying for it.
Exactly.
What a difference that made. And I was older. I was 22,
And-
21, 22. So
and
I
that-
was older.
Yeah, that totally goes back to our other point. It's like I was 17. I was skipping class and not realizing that, dude, every time you miss class, you just spent like $80 not to be somewhere. Like you're an idiot. Like stop wasting your money. Like, and that was the other thing is you get your student loans, right? And then, you know, you'd wait like 2 weeks into the semester. So they actually said that you were going to class, and then you'd get direct deposited into my checking account. It was like $7,500 and you're supposed to make this last over 6 months. Granted, like I'm 18 years old and I just got $7,500, which I had no business.
No.
You know, I have no business with that money, and instantaneously, 2 months later, you have no money because you're an idiot and you
Right.
bought booze and apartments that you didn't need.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
rent,
and
you know,
impressing
books.
your friends. Impressing
Right,
your friends.
exactly.
And once again, it's immaturity. We don't know.
It totally is.
But it wasn't, as I say, when I went, even going night, it was a good school, but you had to pay as you go. Every semester you had to pay for before they'd let you in a class. There was no student loan, but it was far more reasonable. Even though it was a good school, it was a private school, it was far more reasonable than it is for a kid to go to school today. It's gotten out of hand. It's so expensive.
And the other problem is that it doesn't, you know, mean as much now. Like college degree in the 50s or 60s, like you're a CEO.
Yeah.
College degree nowadays, like I'm bartending.
Right.
You know, and that's not anyone's fault, you know, but mine. But
No, but it brings up a point that a college degree, once again, there were so few
right.
college graduates compared to the population for today. There's so many more.
Right.
That they say even a master's degree doesn't mean what it used to mean.
Exactly.
And now you have to have a doctorate.
Right. A bachelor's is pretty much like as we move forward in time, it's that's a high school diploma.
But it's a stepping stone. Once again, it's
right. I mean, it is. It is.
Education is important. I'm
totally agree.
Knocking it. I mean, we're
Me neither.
laughing, but we're laughing at ourselves. We didn't see it at that age. And maybe that's why we're funny today. It wasn't stifled out of us.
Yeah, but I think that's a huge point. I think that if they were like, okay, you have to work X amount of hours to be able to go to college. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, now I'm viewing that in terms of I work these hours, I'm getting this education, as opposed to I was handed a bunch of money that I have no reference for, I owe this in 8 years. Like now I'm sitting here with, X amount of dollars in financial debt, and I'm just like, okay, well, because 17 through 23-year-old Caleb blew all that money, like now 28-year-old Caleb has to pay for it. So it's like
that's how life works.
It is, and
it is how life works.
And
really.
I honestly wish that I had someone at the orientation when I went to college that was just real and was just they were like, look, if you don't know what you want to do, that is completely okay. Because when I went to school, they really pushed you into doing a major. They pushed you. They did not want you going in undecided, which I think is foolish, because how at 17 can you tell me that you know what you exactly want to do for the rest of your life? How can you tell me that?
I don't think half the students going to college actually know at 17 what they want to do. As I said to you earlier, I think most people working today are not working in the job they thought they would be 10 years earlier. They're not even close to whatever they're doing.
Right.
That's just the way life works out. An opportunity comes up or an opportunity's missed. And either way, that's how we drift through life.
Yeah, and it's definitely a delicate balance of I hate my job, quote unquote, but I need the money,
Right.
Like I have to go do this, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. So I'm trying to figure out how do I take the next steps to become what I want to be.
And you will.
Yeah, I hope so.
Once again, not tooting my own horn or anything, but I think, as I said, I've done acting, and the hardest acting is comedy, because in whether it's on film or in person or on stage, and I've done plays and that, it's the hardest acting because that timing thing has to be perfect. It does, and I think it's even harder on film because they take 6, 7, 8, 10 takes, and by that time you're tired and you can't even put the enthusiasm in it that you should, because you just said
right.
it
You're
10
like,
times
I just said
row,
the joke 10
and
times. It's
you
not
thought
funny
you
anymore.
Nailed it 10 times in a row, and they want you to be, with that same energy. That's really tough. So if you see a movie that's funny, that actually is funny and works, that's hard to get to that point.
Yeah, and that's what I would love to do, is be a part of something, a movie or writing for television or something like that. That would be awesome.
Okay, I'm going to play a little thing we have here for our friends at Sentient Being, and we'll be right back with Caleb Brewer. This is Bill Cooper on Savannah at Night.
This portion of WRUU-LP Savannah Soundings programming is made possible by a grant from Sentient Being, offering fair trade coffee, vegan and vegetarian food, and breakfast all day. Located at 13 East Park Avenue, across the street from the tennis courts at Forsyth Park. Our menu and special events listings can be found at sentientbeing.com.
Okay, we're back now. And we were just talking to Mr. Caleb Brewer, and I'll tell you where we are. We are WRUU LP Savannah, Georgia, 107.5 FM, WRUU. We are Savannah Soundings, community radio with global soul. And as said, the name of the show is Savannah at Night. The purpose of the show, I've been doing it now over a couple of months, is to try to get people in Savannah, and I know there's a lot of them that don't get out and see some of the nightlife we have here is incredible. Between the comedy, which we're involved in plays, which I've done, and there is so much going on. Jesus Christ Superstar is going on this weekend, and I believe the next weekend, I don't know, because of the storm that come, I think it was delayed the first weekend. But it's just... there's a lot going on. So if you can get yourself out and see it, then that's what you should do. So anyway, Caleb, you said you haven't done any acting. That was the first time you had a microphone in your hand and that, right? So I think I never did either. In high school, I stayed away from the plays. That wasn't my cup of tea. So, anyway, but once again, you change. You go through life, you change. But your Cece's joke. This young man has a joke about Cece's Pizza. Now, I don't want him to say it. I don't want him to tell the joke. Anyhow.
I get paid every time you say CC, so it doesn't matter.
No, we don't.
Oh wait, yeah, we don't. We definitely don't. Yeah,
no,
sorry.
We don't. No, anyway, I don't. But it's such a funny joke. Every time you say it, I still laugh. As I said earlier, I said if something's good, it doesn't mean you don't laugh again. We've all heard the same joke 5 or 6 times. Some people say, "Oh, I don't want to hear it again." I do. If it's good, I want to hear it again. I know the punchline. I don't care the way it's delivered, the way it's said, and that really is. That's now one of the local classics.
I appreciate that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's
so what else? As I say, let's not tell the joke. But how did you come up with it? Did you must have had some?
I think I was just having like a really bad day, and my car was breaking down, and I pulled off Abercorn or Montgomery Crossroads, wherever it is over there, and the only thing open or that was close was CC's Pizza, and I'm hungry, and the car is broken down, and I was just sitting there by myself, and I was like, well, I should not be here by myself. I'm a grown man, and this is not. There are too many children here. There's Disney on TV right now. This is not where I'm supposed to be.
What's this guy doing?
Yeah, I got. So they called the cops, but.
It's funny. I don't even like driving by. What's the other one on Abercorn near the Chuck E. Cheese?
Oh, Chuck E. Cheese.
All I'm
Don't you
thinking
say
of,
that.
a friend of mine, years ago, we went to pick up his daughter, and she was 14 at the time. And she was at one of these places that just had, I don't know, video games and loud music. And all the kids would go there on a Saturday afternoon. So, black lights and everything. It was, for young teenagers, that was their nightclub, basically.
Right.
So, I had never been to it, but he had a daughter that was 14. So we went to pick her up, and as soon as we walk in, the music was blasting, the black lights, and I just looked at him. I said, "Welcome to Hades." That's what it seemed like.
Yeah.
But the kids loved it. That's, once again, that's what kids do. That's fine.
That is the difference there is hilarious.
Geez, I couldn't get out of there quick enough. I thought my brain was exploding. The music was so loud. But there's humor everywhere. I guess my point is. There's humor everywhere. You go out to eat, there's humor. You go on a vacation. Now, you said you went up to New England, so tell me a little about New England. I've heard about it.
The main thing I learned about New England is that there are more rednecks in New England than there are in Georgia, and that is a fact.
And I used to say that, and you confirmed it. That's
it is
absolutely a fact.
I've never seen more Confederate flag stickers in my life than in Massachusetts. It's wild.
Yeah.
It's you hear all the redneck jokes, and it's like, dude, you have a pickup truck. Like, what do you?
Okay. Besides that group of people, I mean, what did you think of New England? Tell me.
Honestly,
yeah.
I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, man.
Just be polite, but tell us what you thought.
The people are different. And there's a lot of beautiful stuff up there. Vermont is beautiful. New Hampshire's beautiful. I climbed a mountain in Vermont.
Which one? Mansfield?
Mansfield. Yeah, the highest one, I think. Yeah. Looked into Canada.
Yeah.
It was incredible. That was an awesome experience.
Well, it's a piece of the Appalachian chain goes up through there until it,
oh, wow, really?
New Hampshire to Maine.
I didn't know it went all the way up.
Or ends in Georgia, and
it starts in Georgia
Maine,
for sure.
Or ends in Maine.
Oh, okay.
I'm
I see
just
what you're
saying, which end of the trail you're on.
Right.
Yeah, Mount Katahdin in Maine, and what's the mountain in Georgia?
It's the Blue Ridge Mountains. I don't know which one it is.
Anyway, that's quite a thing. A lot of people walk that every year too.
Yeah. I had a buddy in college. He instead of going to college, he hiked the Appalachian Trail, and looking back, that was probably the coolest thing. I should have done that.
Yeah.
Why not? Take 6 months off.
There's no
walk up the East Coast.
They
have a CC's every 12 miles, Bill. Oh, I will survive.
You couldn't have gone 12 miles.
You're right. Not without that dessert pizza. You're right.
Dessert pizza.
It's so good.
As I said, this food. I mean, food is. It's just funny what it's become.
Yeah,
It
there's
really has.
cookie dough pizza. Have you seen that?
Huh? No. Oh no. That's okay. That ain't
Yeah.
my cup of tea. Now,
Yeah.
I had one taste of cookie dough ice cream, and all I could think of, this stuff ain't cooked. Why are they putting it in it? Cook it, make it cookie ice cream.
I love cookie dough ice cream.
Yeah.
This is. I don't know if I can say this.
Well, then don't.
Okay. I'm not gonna say it then.
Yeah. I like coming here every Sunday.
Yeah, I don't.
Uh,
it's looking at the FCC regulations, and it's not on there, but
Yeah. Oh, then they couldn't list them all.
right.
They couldn't list.
Paper was only so big.
Right. Okay. So, once again, do you have any plans on doing this in 3, 4, 5 years? I mean,
That would
is it
be
time
awesome,
to
man.
think about that.
That would be incredible. Right now I think I'm just taking it one day at a time, just trying to. Because if you would ask me 5 years ago, are you going to be doing this in 5 years,
Right,
whatever
you
that
wanna
was,
get
I would have
there.
been like, I have no idea. You know,
Yeah.
because 5 years ago I was somebody else. 5 years before that I was somebody
Right,
else.
but this is a thread. This is something, now that you've done it, even if you walk away for a couple of years, you will want to come back to it. This is something, as you said.
I
that-
love this.
Yeah.
I love it,
You
man.
have to love it, or you wouldn't step on that stage.
As terrifying as it is, and it really sucks to bomb. But the highs are so good. Like that fix you get from something that you wrote, something that you designed,
Yeah.
landing with a crowd. I think that there's nothing really quite like that that I've found.
And it's like a trapeze artist because, you have no net there. As you just
There
said,
is no net. You're right.
When you bomb, it's the total opposite. It's the 180 degrees. Oh, no. I
Yeah.
mean, And I remember one night, you just couldn't connect one night with whatever you're doing, and you walked off the stage. You were upset, obviously upset. And I'm saying, man, don't let it bother you. Just get back up there the next time. Everyone falls off the bicycle. You
Yeah.
gotta learn how to ride it.
I think I'm like super competitive, and like I'm really hard on myself. So I think that's mostly what that is. I don't ever mean to like shut somebody out because somebody was talking to me about that the other night. I think it's like mental frustration of
Oh,
just
you were
being
mad at
like,
yourself.
it's just like the mental frustration of being like, dude, you could have done that better, but you didn't work hard enough, and this is what you got because you didn't prepare.
Boom, prepare.
Right.
Okay, I new guys, and a lot of them will come to me, or girls, whoever does comedy, and afterwards, and they say, "What do you think?" I said, "Well, I don't give my opinion because everyone has a different style, But I will just give you 2 pieces of advice: do not go up there not prepared. You're not going to like it.
Nope.
And don't go up there drunk because you'll be the only.
I go up there 90% of the time drunk and
I
unprepared.
don't think so. Because the ones that go up there drunk, they're the only ones in the place that think they're funny. So I just say that's my only advice. You get plenty of time to drink after if that's what you want to do.
That's what my dad always
Go up-
says.
Yeah, if you go up there drunk, you're the only one that thinks it's funny, and that's the way it goes.
Yeah.
So
I feel like there's like a golden arc for me where it's like you have a couple beers and you hit that golden arc, but then you have that one beer and it turns everything way worse than it was going to be.
yeah.
If that makes sense. So I feel like
No, because what it does is distract from what you're trying to say, and that's not
Right.
Even
I
if
totally
you're
agree.
prepared and you have 3 beers and go up there, all of a sudden it's pulling away from your preparation.
and it's almost like in this weird I want to have a couple beers because I'm an alcoholic, but also because I think it like loosens you up a little bit, as so your set isn't like super tight necessarily. Like you can over prepare, I guess,
Oh, anything.
and it'll be too tight and not what you want. But like I said, it's like there's that golden arc, and you have one drink too many, and your set sucks, and you didn't get anything out of it. And
Now I've been doing comedy for 5 years, and I'd be lying if I said I didn't have a bad set or didn't bomb. I mean, and I have, and and yet I have some very good sets that I've been proud of, but you just have to deal with it. It's part of it. And as I say, I don't blame the audience, but I did one time.
you can
I
never.
told a joke, and I said, "This is funny," and I said, "Excuse me," and I laughed. I said, let me finish laughing because I like this joke. And I said, "Okay, I'm done. I hate you." And the whole crowd bust out laughing when I told them I hated them. I said, wow, I didn't expect that reaction, but
Right.
I got a laugh anyway.
Yeah.
You know, maybe the joke didn't, and it didn't work yet, but I knew it was a good joke. But it was, you know, I could tell the crowd. You have to read the crowd too, because
You do.
some of them, you know, are into certain types of humor, some of them aren't, and you really have to read the crowd too. And I've gone on the way upstage. In my mind, I've crossed out one or two things that I was going to say, because the one before me did something maybe was similar or something, and it just fell down. As I can't pick them up after that, so I just scratched it on the way up there. I won't say it.
I've been in that situation one time. I was so ready to do one set, and then I felt like another comedian like slightly hinted at something, and then all of a sudden I'm scrambling trying to put together something last minute because I'm like, that was too similar.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, the same thing. People are. It's like somebody explained it to me like this: like when you want to become a comedian, you start looking at the world differently. Like you have like something over your eye, right? Like your perspective's different.
George Carlin said that.
Right.
They asked him, well, "Why are comedians funny?" He said, "I think we have a certain filter that you see what's really happened, and we see it a little bit bent, and that's what happens. We see it a little different than you do. There's some kind of a filter that gives us that power. It's wonderful."
Yeah, it's there. You know, I've had the fortune of you know, a few times just when that crowd like really erupts with laughter, and it's like, oh man, like that is so relieving. Like I'm so glad somebody else, you know, finds that funny.
It's hard to say this without saying, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but I had gone to a wake at a high school friend, and I hadn't seen him in 20 years, and his father had died. So I get there, and all my older high school buddies, because I lived 30 miles away, and we all went a different direction. I hadn't seen them. Well, we're in the room right outside where the body was. So we're in the room right beside it, and I just get them laughing, and we're all laughing, and finally someone comes in and says, "Quiet! That priest is saying a prayer."
Yeah.
So I almost get thrown out of a wake. Is what
Right,
I'm saying.
yeah.
How do you say that respectfully?
I don't know though, man. I would if I unfortunately passed, I would not mind you at my wake making jokes, man. So you can make the jokes away, dude. I think that's cool.
Ann, if you bury me, two things: wait till I die,
That's important.
and then
it's imperative.
Yeah, if you bury me, I wanted to say on my grave, he knew how to laugh. I think
that's cool, man. That's cool. I like that.
Yeah, it's important.
You knew how to laugh.
And once again, there's places not to do it, as I just gave you an example. And any teacher will tell you, or in my classroom. But there are, you have to, it gets you through tough times in life. Nobody gets through life without tough times. I don't care who you are, rich or poor, you don't get through life without tough times. And it brings you up.
That's what it's all about.
And like at Foxy Loxy, when I do the comedy there, I always start off by saying that these young people here, they're here for one reason, to make you happy, to make you laugh, and that's a good thing. So let's welcome them and make them feel good, because they're here, and you're good enough to come to listen to us, and we love that. So I try to make that point that it's, don't be over judgmental. Some are great, some are going to be, some are good, and some are average. That's life.
Yeah.
But remember, they're here for a purpose, to make you laugh, and isn't that a nice thing?
I think anybody who can write their own material and have the guts to get up there and say it into a microphone in front of a bunch of strangers is already a winner. In the sense of there's a very small percentage of people that can do that.
Right. I used to say, and I loved boxing. I really did. I grew up in Lowell, where they had the New England Golden Gloves there. I never get into it except for my schoolyard scraps. But I just loved the art of it. It had sportsmanship. You couldn't do this. You couldn't do that. But I always, one thing dawned on me. I say, oh, this guy won last week. This guy beat him. No one ever lost a fight that stepped in that ring.
Yeah.
They had the guts to step in there. They didn't lose. The other guy won, but they didn't lose. Just, they had the guts to do it. And, just to compare it, as you just said, with comedy, if you have the guts to stand up there, people will respect you. I found very, very few hecklers of any comedians in Savannah. I found very, very few. And I think the people here are extremely respectful. And that's nice, because it until you can get the confidence to handle a heckler if you had one, I think that's good that they're giving you that, the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, I think it's a kind of a dual-sided sword, a two-edged sword, in Savannah, where the scene is very supportive, and most of the people that go out and see shows are very supportive. But you also get that my jokes are being nurtured, Whereas there are other scenes that I've been told are cutthroat, and they won't even laugh at something that's funny just because they don't like you, and it's like. It's like,
wow.
And it's like, that's really harsh. It's like, you kind of need that in between though. I feel like to improve, like, I love the nurturing aspect, but it's like, is that really a fair critique? Like, could I be doing better? Or are you just like being nice, or vice versa. But
one of the things, as far as the audience has to like you.
Yeah. Or they have to hate you.
They have to hate you.
And you have to make fun of yourself.
That's right. And they will laugh at you like Don Rickles, right? I mean, he was nasty. His stuff was nasty. And then he'd apologize at the end and say, well, that's not really me. But anyway, that was his gig. That was his shtick, and it worked, and he was very successful doing it. But people liked him because he was nasty. They still liked him. But I think the first thing you got to do is have people like you. And that's that's one of the secrets of comedy. You got to get up there. I mean, you stand up there. You get a big smile, and when you laugh at something that you said is funny, people join you because they're enjoying the fact that, hey, that's a likable character up there.
I think I have like a Seth Rogen quality to me, where it's just
only give me my wallet back. I know he's a good guy.
You will never get that wallet back.
No, but I think that's one of the things that you have to be liked.
Yeah,
I know
fair.
that sometimes I get Marianne will tell me, "Oh, Bill, you're getting preachy. It's not a joke anymore. You're just you're trying to hammer someone with your opinion." And yep, I confess that's I do that, but I run everything past her before I do it. And as I say, and I've probably said this every show I've done, is when I have a new joke, I'll say, Marianne, here it is, right? And there's one of three responses. If she laughs, I keep it.
Yep.
If she says, that's awful, I keep it.
That's awesome, man.
Right, but if she says, it needs some work, she's right. It needs some work. That's my barometer. Because we have a different sense of humor. And I know if she says that's awful, I know it's great. I know it's great. And it usually is.
Right.
But, it's just not her sense of humor. But when the one's in the middle, it's in the middle, she goes, she's right. I mean, it needs some work.
I'm very fortunate in the same way. My girlfriend's very funny, Caitlin Hammersmith, if you're listening. But she's very funny and talented in her own way. And that's the first person I go to with all my jokes. And it's the same thing. And it's at Foxy Loxley the other night, my opening joke, I ran it by her, and she was like, I don't think that's funny at all. And I was like, I don't care. I'm saying it. And it worked, and it was okay. Right. But I feel so bad for her because she's got to listen to 1,000 terrible jokes before there's any semblance of a normal one. She's got to. I'm throwing pitches all day, and she.
1,000. Marianne's at home saying 1,000. I wish it was only 1,000. But we get along great, and one of the reasons, seriously, is like I say, one time we were at a party, and I'll just say anything outrageous just to get a rise out of people, and I'm having fun with them. I never intentionally hurt anyone's feelings. Yeah. So I'll say something, and they'll go, Marianne, did you hear what Bill said? And she'll just say, he said something? That's how she handles me, and it works.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. You got to know when to ignore someone, and then she's mastered that.
Yeah, she all the time. She's like, this is the extra funny to that joke. This is the little tag at the end.
Good for
she's very smart, she's very wily, and she definitely improves my writing. It's like she's if I wrote a copy or something, I put it through the Caitlin filter first and try to get all the garbage out of there. Yeah. But it's a good team thing.
It is important, as I said. When you have someone you can run it by. When I study for a play, I never could be off book as fast as I am without Marianne's help, because when you're, as you say, you don't do acting, but I'll tell you, when you're reading the book, and I always, highlight my parts. But you have to learn twice as much, because you have to learn the line before yours that brings you into it.
Yeah.
And without her reading that line and reminding me of what my thing is, it'd be twice, 3 times, 4 times harder to learn it. And I always give her credit. I said, if someone said, man, you did great in that, I really enjoyed you. I says, well, I want to tell you that half the credit goes to Mary Ann, because I would never have been that proficient without her help. And she does it gladly. Just, it's just makes it nice.
I think that's it's the same for me. Caitlin will get. She says that she gets more nervous than she thinks that I do on stage, and she's not even up there, just because she has no idea what I'm doing half the time, like which ones I'm going to use or whatever. But it definitely helps. There's no question about that, because I could have gone up there and said a lot of dumb stuff, and it's just like I don't even need to do that, because I already know it's terrible, because she already let me know that it was not good.
Right. As I said, it sometimes it's terrible, but sometimes it's good, but it's not her style.
Right. But when
everyone has a different style of humor. What makes you laugh?
Right. But when I feel like I make her laugh, like that deep guttural laugh, that's universally funny. Like we were talking about earlier, that's universally funny. She found and I'm not like a super smart guy, but I would like to write smart jokes, if that makes sense. Just because they make your brain, they tickle your brain in a way.
Real jokes.
Right.
Right. And I used to say that to someone. You get it? No. Well, you can't. You can't possibly get it. It was a cerebral joke.
Right.
You have to have one.
I left mine at
I'll
CC's.
let you use my paper dictionary. It's over there.
I found a dictionary in my room the other day when I was moving out.
Aren't they great?
I never used it. I don't know. I have a phone. I've never used it.
Forget the phone. Seriously.
I can do it in 2 seconds, though. It's the same.
Forget the 2 seconds. Speed isn't everything. Speed is not everything. There's enjoyment. I'll open the book and thumb through it, and you just look at a word saying, I never heard of that word.
That's okay. That's cool.
And it's got 6 letters in it, and I've never heard of it.
Yeah, you can
challenge yourself.
Yeah.
You won't do that on your phone.
I'll just get a Challenge Me app on my phone and get a new word every day on the app.
I'm the caveman. I am not into electronics. Man, as I told you, my cell phone is a paperweight. And, it just doesn't impress me to have people bother me when I don't want to be bothered.
That's why you get the phone, is so you could just, when you don't want to be bothered, you just pretend like you're doing something on the phone, and then nobody talks to you. It's great. You just plug in earphones, or just pretend like you're on the phone. Just nobody will talk to you ever again. It's awesome.
Give you that line. Who was it? Michael Douglas in that thing. I forget. Anyway, don't get old. No, the alternative is worse. Get old. When she says, it was Glenn Close, and she says, I will not be ignored. And that was she said that so scarily, I can still see her doing it. I will not. And she was stalking him and causing it. What was the name of it?
I'm going to have to look it up on my phone. I don't know.
Is the library open?
I can look it up on my phone in 2 seconds. I
can find the reference.
Yeah, get the dictionary, Bill, and then...
I can find the dictionary. But I said, if you want to impress kids your age, if you want to impress them, seriously, right, leave your cell phone at home. And just when they start saying something to you, whip out a newspaper, so I'll be right with you. Just start perusing it.
This guy's weird.
You could start a trend. Honestly, you could reverse the sales drop of newspapers all over the country.
By myself.
Now, as you say, you're young, so you don't go into doctor's offices unless you bring Granny, right? But you ever see those things that are all around there that, they're made of paper, the magazines?
I've heard of these.
I think it's cruel. They do not put any instructions for people your age what to do with them.
Never mind. I was going to make another joke. I can't say that online.
No, we can't.
Okay.
In about 6 minutes, we can.
Okay.
We'll catch up on the... You know what I wanted to say, Bill? Yeah, I could read it.
Just using my dictionary. So.
Okay, let's see. I have one more little thing to read here. If your business enjoys our program on WRUU-LP, please support the station with a donation. Let your customers, neighbors, and friends know that you share our vision of building a thriving community based on diverse, vibrant radio programming. As a business partner, our listeners will know you support Savannah's only broad-based community radio station. Become a tower sponsor or underwriter. To check out the levels of corporate sponsorship and to donate, go to www.wruu.org/business. Again, to check out the levels of corporate sponsorship and to donate, go to www.wruu.org/business. Thank you for listening to and supporting WRUU-LP. While we're wrapping it up, we have about 5 minutes left here. And anything else you want to talk about that we hadn't covered?
I have some weird questions for you if you have time.
Fire away.
I'm just curious. I try to ask this to
please.
most people I just want to learn more about because I think they're like existential questions in a weird sense. Do you believe in intelligent life out there on other planets, aliens, if you will?
I'll put it this way. The universe, we have no idea how huge it is. To say that there's no other life out there, I think is a mistake.
I agree.
It's incredibly huge. So I definitely believe it's possible. But I'm kind of like, they say I'm from Missouri, show me. So when a flying saucer actually lands, on Truman Parkway and talks to people, and you can go up and meet and greet and get their autograph.
Right.
Yeah, then I'll believe they're there. But I'm not believing that they can exist.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
All right.
Existential me again.
If you had to be any animal tomorrow, what would you be?
Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson. That's a pretty big animal, man. He
even bit.
He's got the tiger.
And he fought and he bit. Yeah. No, really. Any other animal? An eagle.
I didn't have
an eagle.
An eagle. Okay.
Man, the view they have is
incredible. Man. Can you imagine being able to fly?
And
like if we left the station in a couple minutes, and I was just like, "See you, Bill."
But not only that, not only the view. But they can spot that. I don't know if I'd want to eat mice.
That is incredible. You're right.
I don't know if I'd want to eat mice. I might have to rethink this animal.
Right.
Yeah.
They have like a Terminator eye, though. It's incredible.
Yeah,
they can see from.
Yeah, to see something that small move.
It's wild. You're right. That is wild.
But speaking of that, one time I brought my laptop out, which I'm somewhat familiar with, and I hooked up hawk sounds, hawk cries of hawks, because there was a bunch of squirrels in the tree.
Oh.
And they're running around chattering, and I hit it, and it's real loud. And whatever the sound the hawk made.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, dead stopped. Their tails stopped moving. They weren't moving a muscle. It was beautiful. Finally, my wife.
Dude, that's brilliant.
It was, but it was 7 o'clock in the morning. She opens the bedroom window. Bill, what are you doing? I know I'm talking to the squirrels. All right, enough.
That is actually super brilliant, man. You just need to come out with a little sound box that keeps.
Yeah.
You don't have to poison the squirrels or anything. Get them away from your bird feeder. You just put this hawk noise on every 30 seconds.
I don't feed birds. Let them earn it. I do. I will not feed a bird.
No bird handouts for you.
I
okay?
do. I have a bird bath. And the funny thing about the bird bath is I found out one thing about a bird bath. They will not drink clean water. It has to get dirty, nasty, filthy before they'll drink it. I kid you not. For 3 days, they will not come near the bird feeder until
somebody pukes in it.
Until something happens.
Yeah.
And then they take a big old bath, and the next bird comes in and takes a big old drink. These are nasty critters.
Yeah.
So I guess, do I want to be an eagle? Yeah, I've never seen one in my bird bath, so I guess, I'm hoping they drink clean water.
That's a cool life, man.
Yeah. How about you? What animal would you like to be?
I'm going to go lion. Male lion.
Really?
Yeah, you get to sit in the sun, or the shade, and the women do all the hunting, and they just bring you back a carcass at the end of the day.
Ambitious
goal. It's,
I think that's why we can't be what we wish.
Right. Yeah, it's like, you're really just gonna lay there in the shade, aren't you? It's just what you're gonna do. And but I'd probably just stay a human because I want to go to CC's. So
CC.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's it. I told
That's
you
awesome,
the
man.
hour would fly by.
That did fly by, man. That's
And
awesome.
I thank you very much. This is Caleb Brewer here, and I am Bill Cooper, and we just had a ball with this show tonight, and that's what it should be. As I say, I hope if it gets someone to get out and come downtown Savannah and see what's going on, I think you'll thank me. And this is WRUULP, Savannah, Georgia, 107.5 FM, and WRUU.org. We are Savannah.